Good morning, everyone, and very much welcome to day 2 of Amsterdam FinTech Week. This Tuesday, we're going to talk about how FinTech is actually impacting the life of entrepreneurs. That's why we call the team Born Multinationals, as we see that from day one, startup companies could actually have the superpowers to become a multinational instantly. And FinTech plays a really key role in actually powering these companies, not just to take away administrative hassle, but also take care of taxes, payments, and financing of their business across the world. And in this data economy, it becomes really important. Everything becomes connected. And it would be a shame if entrepreneurs and SMEs would actually not have access to these superpowers because it's hidden away. And that's one of the reasons that we want to talk about it today, because very often you see that the FinTech is still pretty tough to penetrate from people from outside. So we think we really need to talk about how do we give multinationals, how do we give SMEs access actually to these superpowers to become multinationals as FinTech companies. So we want to talk about that today. And with me today is one of our board members, Hessel Kuik. Hessel, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Don. Good morning, everyone.
Yeah, great that you could join today, Hessel. Hessel is the founder and owner of Bizcuit Group, a fintech in its own right, serving SMEs. So I think you've got the whole idea of powering SMEs in the core of what you do, Hessel.
Yes, absolutely. We've got the PSD2 license, which offers a lot of the new opportunities in the market. We'll talk about it later, I guess, but we have tooling for SMEs that basically supercharge their bank account and enable them to pay invoices, taxes, all of that in one app.
Cool. And so I think, let's say, I'm really happy that we've got you here also as one of the fresh board members at Holland FinTech, right? And I think that this area is really important that we start, because very often when we talk about SMEs in the FinTech context, we talk about financing SMEs, right? So giving credit. Which, of course, is also an important topic, just like Her Majesty Queen Maxima mentioned yesterday. It's one of the bigger gaps that we still have to fill, I think, in the financing field. But at the same time, there's so much more, which I think is not always easy to understand for people, right? And I think that your company basically delivers solutions that are going way beyond the financing field.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot is happening in all areas, in regulation, in technology. I think actually the most important change is in access to data, and also in collaborations, partnerships that you see happening. So all of these developments lead to a lot of new possibilities for SMEs. I think, and I believe Queen Maxima also mentioned it, that SMEs are currently underserved by banks. And for most banks, you're either a corporate, the corporates bring in the big revenues, of course, or you're a consumer. That's where the volume is. But SMEs are in the middle, and there has not been a lot of focus on them. And I'm glad to see that a lot of fintechs are looking at this space and bringing new solutions. Bigger companies that bring whole platforms, or smaller companies that bring parts of those platforms, or collaborate in many ways to bring full solutions. So seems like new things are emerging every day for SMEs, and it's good to see that.
Yeah, no, I think that is really cool. And I think do you also see there, I think one of the challenges as well is that I think maybe even the boundaries between individuals and companies are also fading, right? So whether you're an entrepreneur or an employee, I think those boundaries are also fading. I think everyone does something that could make them be called an entrepreneur, and everyone does something that could actually make them be called an employee, right? How do you see that?
Yeah, entrepreneur or employee, or even just you as a private person. Every entrepreneur is also just a person, and as a person, you need to manage your finances. So especially as a small business entrepreneur, as we do with Bizcuit, for example, you want to see your business bank accounts in one overview, but also your personal bank accounts. You have to make payments for your company, but also your private payments. You also have the invoices for yourself and for your business.
Yeah.
Why would those things be different solutions? It's much easier to combine those things. We see it with LinkedIn and with many other tools. You're there as a professional, but also as a regular person, and I think we'll see that more and more.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I think indeed, let's see, you said that legally those worlds are still very separate. But indeed, from a user experience, you actually want them to be integrated. And I think that's a really interesting field as well, how to see how that's evolving and how we're actually, well, technology can really provide a good solution there, as you mentioned, to bring them much closer to people and easy to use.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a good point you're making, because you see it as one app, but it's completely different legislation, for example, if you have a solution for consumers or for businesses.
Yeah. Well, cool. And I think one of the things we should also say is that probably to serve SMEs best is, well, not to give them 1,000 new apps to solve their stuff, but actually to integrate things. And I think that's also maybe a nice bridge to our keynote speaker of today, because I think you actually did a recent partnership with Mollie, from whom we're going to hear in just a minute. Can you tell us a little bit about how you see those kind of partnerships?
Yeah, I think there is so much evolving in technology, in regulation, that it's very difficult for one company to do everything. And also you need knowledge and expertise and a network to be really good at something. So I'm a strong believer of focusing on the things that you're good at, and partnering with others that are good at the things that are complementary, and then together you can offer a complete solution. So what we do with Bizcuit, we have a platform for SMEs. We have functionalities in our app, but we also have an in-app marketplace where we offer third-party solutions. And we recently announced indeed a partnership with Mollie, where we connect Mollie, the bank transaction, or the Mollie transactions, the settlements, and accounting solutions can link to the platform, the Bizcuit platform, and get those transactions. So we really collaborate there. And we have Bizcuit and Minox, and Minox is an accounting solution, and there we also have a partnership with Mollie to put payment links on the invoices. Okay. And so there is a lot of collaboration, and I think the ultimate the user is ultimately profiting from this.
No, exactly, because you make the connections already work. They don't have to worry about it, and can go for one seamless experience. Sounds great. Well, I think it would be great to bring out Ken, because indeed our speaker of this morning is Ken Serdons from Mollie. He's the Chief Commercial Officer and has some great experience to tell us about Mollie, which of course is one of the unicorns in the Dutch payment landscape, in the Dutch fintech landscape, and already announced recently that they are fastly expanding across Europe. So we're really keen to hear a little bit more about how Mollie is doing at the moment and how they see the power that they actually give to SMEs. So Ken, good morning. Welcome to this event. We're very much looking forward to hearing from you. So I'll give the floor to you first, and then we'll see each other after that.
Thanks, Dom. Thanks for hosting, and also thanks, Hessel, for being here. So super delighted to be here. I'm looking forward to spend the next couple of minutes with all of you. So a quick intro about myself. I started my fintech, career 8 years ago at WorldPay, where I joined just before the IPO, which was a great time. Managed lots of different things, lots of different products in the UK market, and also managed the IPO for WorldPay UK. And then moved to smaller fintech Payment Sense, where I spent a year helping them from startup to scale up. And in 2019, I joined Mollie as Chief Commercial Officer. So Mollie is now one of Europe's fastest growing fintechs. And what we do is we offer frictionless payment solution for now over more than 100,000 businesses across Europe. And we focus on business of all sizes. So typically the SMEs, who indeed, as Don and Hessel mentioned, are massively underserved still in the market. We were founded in 2004 and have now offices across Europe, both in Amsterdam, Munich, London, Paris, and also in Belgium as well. It's our mission to become the most loved PSP. And that means that we deeply care about our customers, trying to give them the best products, but also the best service, no lock-in contracts, just effectively doing everything that the banks don't do well. We recently got last year an investment from TCV, and we're now growing at 120% year over year. So, and that's a growth that we see accelerating. given the more and more demand for our services, but also the international expansion that we're currently also pursuing. I'll talk about three things today. First of all is how FinTech can help the SMEs, and also how, of course, FinTech and actually starting an e-commerce business now is completely borderless. So again, how FinTech can help you start your business, grow your business internationally, and also very brief reflection on, let's say, the pandemic and how it impacted, let's say, e-commerce FinTech, and how, again, FinTech really helped, I think, the economy blossom throughout a difficult time. So first of all, I don't need to tell you guys, but running a business is very complex. There's lots of regulation. Hessel touched on that. Also, technology needs are changing all the time. And also what's making it even more difficult is that your customers, very often consumers or other businesses, they continue to ask and expect more and more. And that's driven by, let's say, Amazon, the big tech, Google, Apple, etc. Good design, more options for payments, a great customer experience. Everything needs to be seamless. And as a SME, that can be quite difficult. Think, for example, about your, let's say, same-day delivery. That's pretty much the standard that Amazon and Bol.com are offering. How can you achieve it as a business? And for that one, you definitely need to work together with other companies, and FinTechs can then help you. What's also frustrating is that over the, let's say, the past 30 years, traditional banks, they really haven't made their lives easier. Applying for a bank account is just a nightmare. I remember when I moved to the Netherlands, which was February last year, just a month before the pandemic hit. Obviously, I had to open a bank account, had to go multiple times to a bank branch in person, which is an experience, I mean, seriously, that I was not used to, having lived in the UK for 6 years before that. Applying for a credit card, even a corporate credit card, is a nightmare. You have to fill in multiple forms, and if you're lucky, like a month later, you might get one. Paper, poor service, poor technologies built in, let's say, in the 60s on mainframes. Typical banks have made lots of acquisitions, different platforms. It's a complete mess. And that's, I think, where FinTechs come in. At Mollie, it's our mission to enable businesses of all sizes to grow. And we like to give them access to the best tools, data, and technology, almost like the privileges that before were only reserved for the big corporates. We now make those available for the SMEs. So for example, like, I mean, when you talk payments, like the big corporates, they literally have departments of people figuring out how the payments work, look at data all the time, think about how to optimize conversion. As an SME, obviously, you don't have those resources. But luckily, I mean, FinTechs like Mollie really help you to give those tools, make them readily available, and actually automate a lot of these things for your business. So we offer simple dashboards, optimize your checkout for conversion. We integrate lots of different tools, including all the major accounting software packages, so that makes your business easy. And everything is API based. So super simple integrations. It literally takes like a couple of minutes to get going and to start taking payments. We're blurring, let's say, the boundaries between offline and online with our payments. You can take payments to the Mollie app in your shop. You can have the same customer making a payment online on all devices, literally making the whole world more omni-channel. I think Don mentioned about the superpowers. The superpowers, again, for a very long time being reserved to the large corporates. FinTechs make these superpowers now available to SMEs. I talk about payments, banking, lending, foreign exchange, accounting, invoicing, you name it. Everything becomes a lot more simple. And when I analyze the different FinTechs that I've been in touch with, I think there are pretty much 5 areas where I think FinTechs make the difference. I think the first one starts when you become a customer, and is really fast and easy onboarding. It's simplifying the complexity of KYC, AML, there are different checks that really can make it difficult. And traditional banks, again, they use paper forms, a copy of your passport, etc. Right now, just with a quick scan or let's say a quick video call, we can recognize you, and we can recognize you that you are the one that's owning your business. Simple and clean technology, API driven, it would be the second one. I think that's very common across all the FinTechs. And also, as Hessel mentioned, it's a partnership approach. It's not suffering from the not invented here syndrome, but really think and understanding that when you work together with multiple businesses, And when you make it easy for your customers to integrate your technology into somebody else's technology, you actually make your own company a lot stronger, a lot more powerful. Brilliant customer service. Again, customers expect this from you. So that's also what fintechs offer. And actually the best customer service, at least that's our belief at Mollie, is having actually no need to serve your customers, because everything is super simple. All the questions are even solved before they pop into the minds of your customers. I think finally, also mentioned before, is a data-driven approach. Helping your customers make decisions based on data through AI, etc. And what it means when you work with a fintech, it means you're fast up and running. You can focus on what you do best and what you want to do effectively, which is running your business. Everything else becomes just like something that somebody else is managing for you. You offer a great experience for your customers. You can enable you faster growth and also better decision making. So I think that's like what I see happening, and that's where I think fintechs make the difference, and where the traditional financial service companies really struggle to keep up. Going to the next part, which is like how digital commerce has expanded across borders. When you have a web shop, you attract customers automatically from different countries. Specifically, when you're in Europe, obviously all the countries are so close by. When you go to a Dutch web shop, you get customers from Germany, from Belgium, etc. So what you need to do is really make it easy for your international customers to find you as a company, as a web shop, but also make it easy for them, for these international shoppers, to really complete their purchase on your website. And again, that's where fintech comes in. As a payment company, we really help our customers finding out what's the best mix of the different payment methods. German people, they love paying on invoice. They love paying with buy now, pay later solutions like Klarna. Belgians like Bankcontact. Dutch people have Ideal. So it's really important you offer all those local payment methods on your website. Failing to do so will make it more difficult for an international customer to really use the payment method that they like and that they're used to. And that can impact conversion rates quite a lot. Obviously, buy now, pay later solutions, everybody knows this, they have like really grown tremendously. And what we see as a payments company is that by offering such a payment method, you really can increase your revenues, because lots of customers that were, let's say, previously not able to afford or thinking about making the purchase right now can now afford to do so, given that they only have to, let's say, provide the funds later on. So that's where I think, again, fintechs can really help customers grow. Currency management is important, of course, when you start thinking about trading in, let's say, from Europe into UK or in, let's say, other currency markets. Again, there are lots of different options, and lots of fintechs trying to, let's say, solve these problems without charging you an arm and a leg for foreign exchange rates. And obviously the data. There's lots of international data available, which payment methods work, like which markets, what's the market growth in your vertical. As a fintech, like as a bank that taps into different accounts through account information services, there's lots of information that we can aggregate and really make available to your business to make them grow. So that's how, again, international expansion becomes a lot easier. And again, the boundaries of let's say of the international expansion have completely blurred, which again makes it easier to superpower your company. And I think finally, quick reflection on the pandemic. Obviously, when Corona hit, lots of people's lives changed. We have also seen business change a lot, and I'm actually also quite proud of the role that fintech played during the pandemic. I'm really, let's say, happy to say that Mollie as a company, but also other fintechs, we helped a huge number of businesses succeed the difficult times. So at the height of the pandemic, we onboarded up to 2,000 customers a day. These were typically merchants that never had experience with online. So we had to really handhold them through the whole, let's say, process, explain a couple of things that for, let's say, digital natives are quite simple to understand. Making that shift from offline to online, I think, went at the record speed. And also neobanks, I think, played a really important role. Again, like if you want to start a new business, have to open a bank account, you can't like properly visit the bank branch anymore. Again, the neobanks, I think, have done an amazing job to really make that happen. You can also look at let's say the total number of fintechs, unicorns that are being minted. Let's say every week almost. It's crazy. Only in Europe alone, I think there were 27 new unicorns crowned in Q1. Mambu, Bipro, Bitpanda, Lendable, a couple of really great fintechs that recently achieved that valuation of more than $1 billion. So there's a lot of confidence in fintech. There's a lot of confidence in the fact that fintech is there to help grow companies, help stimulate the economy. And I think there probably has never been a more exciting time to be in fintech and also to be working with fintechs to expand your business. So that summarizes it. I really like to thank you for listening and looking forward to the questions, and obviously also wish you a great and inspiring rest of the day here at Holland FinTech.
Yeah, great, Dan. Thank you, Ken. Thank you very much for your insights. I think it's really valuable to see how Mollie has grown, of course, tremendously, and also what your vision is on how to support SMEs. Hessel, I'm not sure if you have any questions for Ken already.
Yeah, first thing, thanks, Ken. It was very interesting, and I recognized a lot of the teams that you were mentioning. We are, of course, not nearly the size of Mollie, but that's especially why we can learn a lot, and that goes for us, but also for many of the other members of Holland FinTech. I'm sure there are many people listening in that recognize a lot and can learn a lot. And from that perspective, I have a question, which is, what are the biggest challenges that you have seen with growing and especially growing internationally in fintech?
Yeah, so I think probably the most difficult thing is access to talent. And as we're growing really fast, I mean, I remember when I joined in September 2019, we're at 175 people. Right now we're at 450, and we're planning on adding another 300 people just this year. And that's because the demand is huge, and I think that's the most difficult thing to do for a couple of reasons. I think, first of all, I think the access to really good talent is just very limited. All companies are looking for those developers. Amsterdam is, of course, a very, let's say, hot scene for technology, so that makes it difficult. You also now see lots of companies, let's say, going elsewhere to set up hubs, etc., for engineering. So that's one of the options that we also are exploring. But also, I think when you grow internationally, for example, in Germany, we really had in the beginning a difficult time because nobody knew Mollie, obviously. And that makes it difficult to attract the right talent. In Amsterdam, we have no issues hiring, let's say, commercial people, etc. But in Germany, that was very different. So I think investing a lot there in employer branding is critical. Obviously, doing a lot of PR, etc. That makes it easier as well.
Being a unicorn probably also helps at some point when you appear on all kinds of lists of the unicorns across Europe. That probably makes life easier in that sense.
It does indeed, yeah. So, yeah. But still, I mean, it's yeah. I think that the challenge ahead is still massive on the talent side.
Yeah, I have one question for you, because I think what was interesting, what you said, is that you onboarded a lot of merchants that would normally not run a digital shop, right? So there would be the brick and mortar stores that would actually during the pandemic were forced to go online. Did that teach you also something about how to approach those untouched groups, basically, that normally would not be in a digital space, and how to also shape your product perhaps differently to make it easy for people to get on board, right? So what was your learning around that?
Yeah, so a couple of things. I think on the product, we were lucky that our product was already super simple. I think it's literally like we sometimes get quotes that even my mother or my grandmother could use it. So that really helped a lot, because I think without that, it would have been really difficult to just serve all these customers. So I think it's like probably changing the messaging, changing how you talk to your customers. If you know that these are literally new to the business, you need to explain a lot of things that, I mean, for other, let's say, digital natives are just very, very common, specifically in the onboarding process, etc. I think that's one thing. I think we were definitely surprised by, of course, the growth, and scaling up a customer service, for example, was definitely a struggle. And I think we have suffered from, let's say, availability in customer service for a long time. because the demand kept on growing. First was the onboarding, there was a customer service. It was crazy. So I think looking at how we can make that even more scalable and even more, let's say, automated was also a key learning for us as well.
Yeah,
I liked your comment when you said that the best customer experience is actually to have our customer support is to have no customer support. We have a similar saying: the best user experience is no user experience, because things are done automatically for you without you even noticing it. But it's complex because you need to do a lot, especially as a regulated fintech. The onboarding is not easy.
Yeah, indeed. And I think those requirements become more and more, let's say, stricter, right? So obviously there is, I think also fraud in e-commerce has increased a lot. There was recently a report from FITSI saying that it increased, I think, by more than 150%. So I think lots of let's say fraudsters trying it out now. Obviously, when all the consumers also have moved online, lots of them are first time, let's say, or were first time online users. So let's say definitely more susceptible to fraud. So also that made it more complex and of course the regulator also jumps on that. I mean, rightfully so.
Yeah. We're going to talk about that more on Friday as well, when financial crime is high on the agenda, because also fintech plays an important role there to actually fight financial crime. And as you see, indeed, that if digitization increases, that also the dark side moves along, basically. Well, I think we should wrap it up. So I would really like to thank you, Ken, for your insights. It's been really wonderful to be working with you on this and to be able to share your view with the audience here. Looking forward to stay in touch and work with you more. But for now, many thanks and good luck in powering those SMEs going forward.
Thank you very much, Tom and Hessel. It was a pleasure to be here. So yeah, have a great day.
Great. You have a great day. Thanks. Just now looking ahead a little bit on what we have in store for you for the rest of the day. Here you can see our agenda. We'll follow up now shortly with a panel discussion to dive in a bit deeper about some of the things that Ken was mentioning. So we'll get to that in a minute. For the rest, we've got a cool session from FinTech OS, also one of the cool companies from the Dutch market that really got quite some funding recently, talking about how to improve access to finance. We're going to talk about DORA compliancy with NCC Group. Mambu will take us through the benefits and risk of banking transformation. I think this could really jump into what Ken was saying about how banks always still struggle actually to serve the SME segment. End-to-end automation from UiPath, also really interesting if you talk about frictionless. Skillfocus is going to talk about the trends and challenges for startups. And the future of SME insurance is also on the agenda by FinTech OS again. Really good also to look at the insurance field because there's a lot going on at the moment. Then we've got the CTO roundtable by the Software House. Really interesting talk for the techies among us to actually dive in a bit deeper about what's going on behind the scenes. Then YTS is going to talk about the shift in payment landscape. And we see that FinCog will give us some insights about how branding, positioning, and strategizing your fintech will actually help. And of course, last but not least, we've got some company pitches again at the end of the day, and they're all waiting for your votes because the one that gets voted for the most will actually join us on the live session this Friday during the Amsterdam FinTech Meetup XL. So I think quite a cool program. What do you think, Hessel? Is there anything that you're keen to join on?
Well, most of them sound very interesting. Very cool companies also presenting. I'm looking forward to the panel discussion to hear more about findings of other companies working with SMEs as customers, what they see in customer needs and behavior. Yeah. Access to finance and also the shift in the payments landscape. I think they are related topics. One of the biggest drivers for change for SMEs is access to data. So these are topics that are extremely important for further progress. And I'm also very interested in the more technical side, so the CTO roundtable, and also the trends and challenges for startups in the fintech sector. I think we'll hear a lot of interesting things. As also with the the session at the end. I know Jeroen and Jan that are presenting it, the FinTech Knowledge session. They are very knowledgeable in this area. So I'm sure we'll learn a lot of new things.
Yeah, great. Thanks a lot. Maybe we could actually look at the panel discussion, as you also mentioned that you're keen on looking at that. We've got our own Connie Dorrestein, who is moderating it, one of the leading ladies in FinTech and well fed into the whole payment landscape, also with her own company serving SMEs, Bankify. And we've got people from Funding Options, the Software House, Buckaroo, Pelican Group, and Dusk Network, who will support her in the mission to find out more about how to serve SMEs and give them superpowers. So I'm really happy with this lineup, and I think it's going to be great to listen to them. So I don't think we should keep you much longer here and actually let you go to the next session. Any last word from you, Hessel?
I wish everyone a great day and a lot of fun and a lot of new learnings.
Indeed. Looking forward to talk to you all. Please reach out via the Hopin platform to connect to everyone you would want to meet, and enjoy the sessions today. Have fun. And then, Connie, the word is over to you. So everyone, please move to the next session. Have a great day.